Alright guys, so I'm back for another video. Today we're going to be looking at my gs300. This is intended to be my daily driver, but at the moment I'm being forced to use my Subaru, and I kind of want to get this back up and running because I want to build the Subaru and I can't park it up if I've nothing else to drive. So today we're going to be looking at my GS. At the minute I'm having a weird problem where the battery keeps on draining, so I think it might be the alternator. So we're going to look at how to test if it is the alternator, to see if we have the correct current and amperage going back to the battery to see if I'm getting a charge. If that is the case, then we have to remove the alternator. If that's not the case, then we're going to have to look at the battery. Now, I've already placed the battery in the car thinking that it might be that, and it's not. So my next choice is to go and look at the alternator. I'm going to show you where it's located, and then eventually we're going to see using a multimeter and how to test if I have right current and voltage coming back to the battery to see if it's charging or not. So this here is the engine of the gs300. It's a 2JZ GE, a non-turbo. Now I've got a little bit of a short intake here, but that will not be forever. The plan for this car is eventually, once I have the Subaru done and I have another daily driver, is build this thing up. Now the alternator is located right there. We have to try and get that serpentine belt off, and then we see if that has to come out and take it out. First, we're going to be looking to see if that is getting enough voltage back to the battery, which is located here. Now, I've already tested and checked all the wires. All the wires seem to be okay and going back to the battery. So I'm going to get the multimeter now. I'm going to hook it up to the battery. I'm going to show you what you should be looking out for and where you should hook it up. Okay, so here you have the multimeter. Now you're going to connect your red to your positive and your black to your negative. Obviously, your positive is illustrated here on the battery and your negative is illustrated there. Some cars will just have a red wire going here, and that's how you know that you're positive. Some cars will have the black wire going there. That's how you know that you're negative or you're ground. So we've hooked up our multimeter. It is now showing us 12.6 volts. Now this battery is only charged, so it should be full. We're going to switch on the car now, and when we have the car switched on idling, we should see that jump to about 14 volts. 14 volts illustrates that the alternator is working as it should and is charging the battery. If that does not change, we know that the alternator is not charging the battery at all, and we know that we're just getting a constant drain on the battery, and that is what is causing the battery's drain and me not being able to drive this car. So I'm going to switch on the car now, and then we'll see what that is. Okay, now that we have the engine running, we are looking at the battery. As you can see, the battery has already dropped from 12.1 to 12.0 volts. This is showing me that there is a constant drain in the battery, but this is without any accessories on. Now, if I was to turn accessories on, you'll see this start plummeting rapidly. You can already see it is starting to drop ever so slowly. So you can imagine under load, this being automatic, how much drainage is on that battery constantly. This should be at about 14 volts when that car is just idling, and then it should be, with your accessories on, should be about 13 volts if the alternator was working properly. As you can see here, it has stayed the same, it hasn't changed. So now we know, and we've narrowed down that it's an alternator problem, and we have to remove our alternator to fix it. Okay, now with the car switched off, we can look at taking off this alternator. First thing you want to do is take your serpentine belt off. Now, the serpentine belt, with the guide of this torch, I'll show you, you have an idler pulley right over there. With this idler pulley, you're going to grab a socket. I think it's a 12 or 14 mil socket, and you're going to pull that. You're going to pull that counterclockwise. By doing this, that idler pulley will be pushed that way and will release tension on your belt. Then when this is like that, you can actually take off your serpentine belt and you can look at taking out the alternator. Now, to take this alternator out, first thing you're going to want to do is remove the terminal there. That is a 14 mil socket. Once you remove that, that cable will just come straight off. Remember that if there should be a spring washer or a copper washer on that to keep that washer and do not lose it. Now, at the back of the alternator as well, you're going to have a plug. That plug that is right there. You're just a normal plug. You're just going to push it down and you're just going to pull it out. That's it. Then after that, you're going to have that one bolt up there, and you're going to have a very tricky bolt. That bolt there is a 14 mil, and the one bolt underneath is a 6 mil. Now, the bolt underneath, I can't really show you that well, but if you're looking into your engine bay and you put your hand down here, you will feel like a bolt coming through with a nut on. Now, you can try and take the nut off, but I just find it easier. It's a 6 millimeter socket that you're going to need. The whole bolt will just unscrew with the nut already on it. Just keep where that nut is, and then just screw it back on when you're done, when you're replacing your alternator. That is connected to a power steering line down there. Do not worry, the power steering line is on a bracket. Once you take that bolt out, the power steering line will just drop a little bit. It won't get caught in anything else. And then when you go to replace your alternator, just remember to put that back in, put that bolt with that little bracket for the power steering line back in there. Now, it's a bit hard for me to work on the engine bay and show you guys what to do, so this is why I'm doing it this type of way. I'm going to take this alternator out using and describing what I just told you guys. I'm going to be using that 14 millimeter bolt. I'm going to unplug and I'm going to disconnect that wire going back to the battery. Then after that, I'm going to take the alternator out, and then I'll show you what you're left with. Alright guys, so I got the culprit out. This is a gs300, I think, to a LS400 as well, alternator. So if you are looking for one of these, get out of the gs300. I think a gs350 and a LS400 will have the same alternator. Now, don't quote me on that. It could be different in different countries. I know in this country here in Ireland that this car came with that, so you can look at getting one of them for your car. I'm off to go and get another one, and then hopefully I'll be able to record in another video of how to install an alternator. It's basically just a reversal of this, but for anybody who wants to know, I'll record the video and I'll stick it in. Now, I don't know if it's worth saying, but please disconnect your battery before you do anything electrical wise in your car. If you do not, you have a good chance of shorting something out and blowing a fuse, or maybe electrocuting yourself, which is not always the best. So please just do that first. So this is a video on how to remove an alternator from a gs300 and how to test if it is an alternator problem. I hope you liked the video. Comment, tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me how I can improve. I want feedback, I need feedback. I know I'm not 100% yet. This is only like my third video, so as much feedback would be good. Please like it. Please like, share, even if it's just like, even if it's teasing me or teasing me in front of some friends. Just please, I just want the likes. I just want people to get myself out there basically, and subscribe. Can't have all that without people subscribing to me. I need more subscribers so I can do more videos like this. So thank you very much.